Hey there, Jake here from CVP. We were very fortunate recently to get some hands-on time with Zeiss's latest cinema lenses, the Aatma. I've been a fan of Zeiss for a long time. I've tested a huge number of their cine lenses that they've released over the years, and I love a lot of lenses they've produced, such as their Master Primes and Otus, which are some of my favourite lenses ever. And after some hands-on time with these new Aatmas, I can safely say that they are some of my favourite cinema lenses I've ever used. When I initially saw the announcement of the Aatma, I was intrigued to see what made these different to the Supremes and Supreme Radiances, which physically they look pretty similar to. Speaking with Zeiss before I got my hands on the Aatma, I got the rundown of the design ethos behind them and what makes them a massive departure to Zeiss's other modern lens designs. The name Aatma is derived from the Sanskrit word meaning innermost, essence, self or soul. The Supremes are lovely lenses, but have the reputation of being almost too good optically, and in today's high-end lens space, unique character, which could be seen as optical flaws, are what cinematographers want rather than a perfect lens. And that's how the Aatmas were born. The idea of taking modern Zeiss lens design but implementing some vintage lens aesthetics. I can't imagine how hard it must have been convincing the Zeiss engineers who strive for optical perfection to design a set of high-end cinema primes with certain optical traits that they might see as flaws. The Aatma are actually designed with Zeiss's beautiful super speeds in mind, and are based around legendary distagon, planar and sonar lens designs that Zeiss have been using for a long time. But these lenses have tweaked element placement, design and spacing to give them a unique look that is different to Zeiss's other modern cine lenses. I know that part of the designing process for these lenses was comparing them to super speeds, as they are still incredibly well regarded and used for a range of productions. So they are trying to put some of that super speed magic inside of these lenses. But what does that actually mean? How have Zeiss achieved the look of the Aatma? Well, I think it can be broken down into 5 key traits. The first being how they handle spherical aberration. Spherical aberration is an optical aberration that can occur when using spherical elements in lenses. In a larger sense, spherical aberration is a lens's failure to focus light rays to a singular focal point. This is because the spherical curvature of a lens creates different focal lengths along the curve from the center of the lens compared to its edge. So light rays at the edge of the lens are refracted more than rays near the center. These off-axis rays will not come to focus at the same focal point, and as a result, we get spherical aberration. It's actually quite a commonly used character for cinema lens designers to employ when designing more vintage-inspired images. It can reduce overall sharpness and contrast and really help soften up a lens's image. We use the lens projector to evaluate lenses when they come into our Brentford office, and putting the Aatma on our system, it's immediately apparent that wide open, these lenses have quite a lot of spherical aberration glow to them. As you stop down to T2 though, this is reduced quite a bit, and the lenses behave like a regularly corrected cine lens. This reminds me of Canon's Sumrays, which did a very similar thing wide open, as essentially those lenses are cine primes, but with the cine's aspheric elements changed to spherical. This is something that super speeds do as well, and the Supremes definitely do not. On camera, this glow helps smooth highly detailed areas out. The lenses still resolve well, but skin especially is handled very differently to Zeiss's other current cinema lenses. We can see in high detail areas like Sam's skin and beard that it's not overly detailed. They have a much more natural and almost painterly look. They still resolve well on the projector in the center, and as you stop down, they still have a subtle softness to them. But these lenses shine at T1.5, where they really are quite magical. I just want to thank our sponsor, us. Did you know that you can buy most of the kit you see in this video and loads of other cine, video and photo equipment on our website? We sell and ship globally, so if you've been eyeing up a new bit of kit, please use the links in the description as it really helps us keep doing these videos. Oh, and if you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. Zeiss have really tuned how the Aatma render outer focus elements very specifically and differently to their other modern cine lenses. Looking at some examples we shot with the Aatma, we can see that our autofocus highlights have a very defined edge to them, which I would call overcorrected bokeh. And you'll see this more on vintage lenses than more modern optics. You can also see cat's eye shape towards the corners of the frame, a slight glow to the defined highlights, and even some doubling up of our highlights at points. The wider angle lenses also have a smearing effect towards the corners, which is a really interesting look. Given how these lenses handle their spherical aberration wide open, this kind of overcorrected bokeh is especially striking, as spherical aberration overcorrection is often associated with a more defined busy bokeh. As these lenses are early prototypes, the 25 and 50mm have a little dot in our autofocus highlights, which will not be present in the full production units. Overall though, the Aatma's autofocus areas look lovely. They have such a gorgeous quality to them, which pairs really well with the softer image when wide open. Another character of the Aatma's worth mentioning is how the focus rolls off. The way these lenses transition from their focus plane to autofocus elements is beautiful. It's much smoother and subtler than other modern lenses that I have tried. For motion picture use, the way a lens breathes and rolls can completely change the aesthetic of a frame, and with how the lenses perform with the two previous points we've mentioned, this means these lenses have a really unique look of soft rolls to more defined autofocus elements than you may expect from a lens that rolls off this nicely. Like most optical characteristics, chromatic aberration, which I'm going to call CA going forward, is a real love it or hate it trait. Personally, I don't mind a little bit, but I do normally prefer lenses that are on the cleaner side. I find strong fringing very distracting, and while it's obviously easy to grade out for photos, for moving image it's much harder. The Aatma have very low CA across the frame on axis, and then before and after our point of focus you can see a touch on some, but it's very low. Weirdly, apart from the 50mm, which I would say has the most out of the set, though it's not awful by any means. Overall though, the performance across the set reminds me of Zeiss's APO designs that they have used before, such as in the Otus, which I really love using. The Otus also have very low CA and some of the special qualities that the Aatma have. Though one thing they don't have, which the Aatma do, is clear tuned field curvature. Field curvature is the failure to focus the image onto a single plane perpendicular to the optical axis. As lenses are spherical in shape, as a result, they project light as a sphere. If you imagine what projecting a sphere of light is like onto another flat surface, the plane of focus is not going to line up with that flat surface. This is something that optical engineers try to correct out so light focuses perfectly on a single flat plane. So if a lens has field curvature, if you focus in the center of the frame, you will see the edges not focusing at the same focus distance. If a lens can focus its light uniformly across the frame, that is often referred to as being flat. It can help draw the viewer's eye in and create some beautiful frames. Surprisingly, the Aatma aren't flat. They have field curvature to them, which for a modern Zeiss lens is pretty surprising and a welcome addition in a lens series like this. Zeiss have such a rich history in cinema. They have made some truly legendary lenses, so I'm really hoping the Aatmas and their new design direction resonates with cinematographers wanting a modern Zeiss lens with far more vintage character than their current cine lens offerings. And personally, I think Zeiss absolutely nailed it with these. They really are beautiful, and everyone I've shown the images we've managed to capture with them too has loved the look of them. I can't wait to get them on camera again and hopefully shoot something more substantial with them. Physically, as we said, they are clearly based around the Supremes, which is great as the Supremes have some of the best designs and mechanics of any cine lens on the market currently. They are incredibly well put together and have lovely dampened focus and iris movements. They aren't too big, though the 135mm is a bit of a beast, but given it's T1.5, I'm not too surprised. It's got some seriously large elements in there. They have matching front diameters, unified gear positions for your focus and iris, and have LDS for lens metadata pass-through. They also have XD metadata support, which means they'll work nicely with VFX and virtual production workflows. They are certainly aimed at the higher end of the cinema lens market, as they are priced at around £15,000 to £16,000 per lens for the initial 5 focal lengths, so they will definitely be rental lenses. But if you're a DP looking for modern lenses with consistent colour, with some of the super speed magic inside, these are 100% worth looking at, whether that's at your favourite rental house or in one of our fantastic UK or European showrooms. I just want to give a massive shout out to this wonderful book, the Cine Lens Manual, which I used to research a bit for this video. If you're into cinema lenses, this is a really amazing reference tool. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. I certainly liked making it, as these are some of my favourite lenses I've used in a long time. They really are very special. Do you like the look of them? Let us know in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.